I'm making a raised panel door for this little cabinet here in the shop. I ordered a set of cutters to cut my rails and stiles, and this here is the stile cutter. There's the one that cuts the profile, which looks like that. And then there's a center cutter that cuts the groove that your panel is going to ride in. There's the groove. Then there's a third cutter that goes on top that completes the profile. Now these spin counterclockwise, and you're going to run your stock through face down. But you're going to need a way to hold your workpiece down securely to the table as you pass it through the cutter. And Grizzly's solution was to provide these spring clamps. And so what I do is slide my wood in there and then adjust the clamps. I've never used feather boards before because they're always such a pain to set up. Well, this mag switch feather board is slick. So I've got my workpiece held down to the table with those spring clamps, and then the feather board pushes the piece up against the fence. The split fence on the shaper allows you to adjust the in-feed and out-feed fences separately, and so you have to do this so that your stock will feed through the cutter and remain up against both fences. Next, I'm considering a power feeder and a different fence so that my setup will be quicker and easier, and I'll be able to get more consistent results. Now I set up and cut the rails, and the advantage of buying the set of cutters for your raised panel doors is that you don't have to readjust your height on your spindle. You just pop off the stile cutters and put on the rail cutters. So here we go. We've got our rail, and you can see that tongue right there on the rail is going to slide right into the groove on the stile. I found that you get a real tight fit if you just take your time and get everything set up right. Cut all your stock to the same dimensions, make sure it's square, and the pieces will slide together and make a real nice door frame. Now I'm going to double check my measurements for the panel. And we want to get that panel just right because it has to float in that groove there. You don't glue the panel in. The idea is it needs to be able to move in that groove in the frame as the weather changes, and we can allow for expansion and contraction that way. Yeah, I've got this straight edge clamp. That's come in real handy because I'm able to get the panel perfectly square that way. Now we're getting ready to install the panel cutter. And I found with the Grizzly shaper that this center plate has to come out of there because the cutter is so big, it's bigger than the opening in that plate. So I'll get everything put back together and cut the profile in the panel. And so here we go. We'll check the fit. Seems to be pretty good. Now I'll get it on the board here and do a dry fit, make sure everything's going to work out, and then get ready to glue it up. And of course, when you put your glue on, you're just going to glue the rails and stiles. Just in those corners there is where you will apply some glue. Once again, the panel just floats in that groove. Alright, so I've got it clamped up, and we'll let it set for an hour until it's dry, and then we'll go on from there. Okay, I'm back, and we're going to put a profile on the outside edge of the door so it looks like that. You get away from the sharp edge on the door. So there's the cutter that I'll use. And we just run it through that cutter, and there we go. So I've learned quite a bit after making this first raised panel door. And there it is on the little cabinet where I'm going to be storing my cutters and sandpaper, and just gave me a reason to practice and make a couple of doors. So I've learned quite a bit making these first raised panel doors, and it's just scrap pine that I made it out of. That light colored wood is poplar. But the cutters do a real nice job, and I think the whole secret of the thing is holding the wood down on the table and against the fence, and so that's where a power feeder is going to come in to the picture. So I'm real pleased with the way it turned out. Looking forward to making my next cabinet out of cherry. Thanks for watching.